Welcome back. As expected, Keron Rose says, hey, I'm always excited to speak to Keron because he's like my digital guru for a Tech Talk segment. Good morning, Keron. How you doing?
Morning, sir. How you doing today?
I mean, little peeved that you're not in studio. Little peeved, but you know.
I'll try to be there next week.
Thank you. Please do better. So we wanted to talk about digital and the tourism industry, which is very interesting to me because obviously, you know, tourism is very important for us in the region. And I have an Instagram account. I'm on Instagram a little too much than I'm supposed to be. And I follow a lot of travel influencers.
That's good.
Why?
That's good because I think as much as we will say that, you know, being on social media too much is a bad thing, I honestly think it's really about what are you consuming when you're on that time. I'm on social media almost 24/7, but I've curated my feed so that it's teaching me a lot. So I'm learning a lot about the things that I'm interested in. And at that point in time, it's never a bad thing when you're consuming information that is helping you progress in your life.
So earlier this year, I spoke to some carnival influencers. I think you shared that article. I think I spoke to you about one of them. No, I spoke to you about soca musicians and their digital footprint. So we're not going to go into that. But carnival influencing is like a very specific subset of travel influencing. But of course, one of the things that I've noticed is that we don't seem to have a lot of travel influencers who are from the region, who are from Trinidad, from Barbados. They might be of Bayesian heritage or Trinidadian heritage, but they're actually based in the US or in the UK. And I'm not sure, and then of course of the whole discussion with tourism and Trinidad and Tobago is that we don't necessarily use tourism the way we ought to because we're an energy-based economy.
Right.
Keron, you're here, you're living here. We're talking about digital tourism and it, you know, for the local context. What tips do you have for us here in Trinidad and Tobago so that we could be using, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So just to kind of touch on your point, one of the reasons why you would see a lot of travel influencers from other countries is really because of, one, access to debt. We know that a lot of the travelers are using their credit cards to be able to purchase their tickets to travel, plus they get the points that allows them to get free travel. So they have a lot of options when they are doing their traveling. In Trinidad, we know that the credit card penetration rate is very low. And for us, we have to pay for a lot of things out of pocket. And the reality is that not everybody can do that without significant sponsorship. So that's why we see a lot of travel influencers from other countries, not so much here locally, right? But when it comes to building the digital marketing footprint for the tourism industry, I would love to see a couple of things being put in place. So we have a lot of smaller hotels across Trinidad and Tobago, and they're not known, right? Unless they get highlighted by somebody who is really documenting the different places across Trinidad, you don't really know about them. And that's because they're not really focusing on building their brand and building a footprint. So one of the things that they can do, I'm going to give 3 quick tips that they can do almost immediately to be able to start to build their digital footprint to be able to attract an international audience. The step 1 is going to be you need to have your own website. And the reason why your website is huge is because when you go on Google or any search engine and you type in anything, the results page is a list of links to a website. So not having your website already disqualifies you from the #1 way that we gather our information. The other 2 things that they can do immediately, we know you're going to have to take a little time to build your website, but these are 2 things you could do immediately to build your digital footprint. #1 is every single hotel industry and restaurant, anybody participating within tourism should have their Google business profile claimed. Once you have your Google business profile claimed, you're going to be able to input your address. You're going to automatically show up in Google, right? You're going to be able to put what your business does, your menu, your rates for your rooms. You're going to be able to put all of the information about your business, whatever the business is, right? The The third thing that you can do immediately today is set up Bing Places. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, Bing, do people actually use Bing? Well, folks, remember, ChatGPT was acquired by Microsoft. So people are using Bing more than they've ever used Bing before. And platforms like a ChatGPT, they gather all of their information from the internet. And you know who populates the internet? We do, the businesses, the bloggers, the content creators. We're the ones putting the content out that is being picked up by Google and Bing. So those are three things you could do immediately to build your digital footprint.
So just so that you can say it to those in the back, why do websites still matter? Because a lot of places, they don't have websites. Or if they did, they're old and outdated.
Yeah, so your website is the most important part of a digital presence. For one, it allows you to become searchable on the internet. So you're allowed to be searched, you're going to be searched by Google, you're going to be picked up by Bing. Remember, all of these AI tools like a ChatGPT get all of their information from what they are scraping from the internet, right? Also, if you are in business, social media in the Caribbean does not allow you any of the e-commerce features to be able to sell your products, accept bookings, none of that thing. So if you want to be able to generate money for your business, the only way you can do that digitally in the Caribbean is you need to have an e-commerce ready website, and then you would have to use your social media platforms to then drive traffic back to your website for you to be able to close business.
Now, of course, I think we can still say that we're in the post-pandemic era, right? A lot of economies are still recovering. Tobago is still recovering. Tourism industry is doing great. But I think I remember seeing an interview with a tour operator this year saying that they're getting a lot of domestic tourism. What tips do you have for the Tobago tourism business people in this post-pandemic era? What are the things that you want to see us do on Ant Island to really help us recover fastest?
Yeah, so great question. So one of the things that they need to do almost immediately is business owners either need to learn how to do digital marketing, because now you're going to be able to target those international clientele, or you need to, if you're not learning it for yourself, you need to be able to hire a digital marketing specialist, or try to see if you could partner with one. I know not everybody has the resources, but you need to get somebody who is a digital marketer that specializes in, one, your content strategy, what type of content your business should be putting out there to attract that audience, and secondly, paid advertising. If you can get somebody who specializes in paid advertising, that would allow you now for your business to start targeting specific countries. We know there's a lot of airlines that have most recently started to fly back to Trinidad. You should be targeting all of those countries that just got the approvals to get airlines to come in Trinidad or Tobago. Start targeting that market to start letting them know that, hey, Tobago exists. But when you're putting out your paid ads, don't just say, hey, come Tobago, or just advertise your hotel's room rates. No. You want to spend money behind content that you guys are creating to let people know what types of experiences they can have, not just coming to your hotel, but coming to the surrounding area in Tobago, and that you are going to be willing to provide that accommodation. And that's a good way to start attracting people in an international market who are really looking for experiences right now.
And Keron, who do you think is doing digital marketing for tourism properly in Trinidad and Tobago?
All of the content creators that are focused on showcasing the wonderful sites, the wildlife, the tourist attractions. The content creators who have next to no budget are doing it amazing. Shout outs to a guy named Trini Surfer. Trini Surfer travels all over Trinidad and Tobago, and the videos, the images that he's been able to capture, these guys are doing more for tourism than the people charge with promoting Trinidad and Tobago with almost next to no budget, which is insane to me.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, I'm happy to hear you say that. Yeah, so, Keron, always a pleasure chatting with you. So great to have you on the program, even though it's virtual. And I'm hoping that Tourism Tobago, Tourism Trinidad are listening to the conversation and try to implement some of these very valid and doable tips that you shared for free on the show.
For sure. Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure. All right, so let's take a very quick break. But when we come back, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about your health. We're going to focus on colon cancer, how to protect yourself. Self-detection is always, well, detection is always the first the first way that you can protect, best way to protect yourself against the development of cancer.